Alright, let's play some more Dragon Fighters Dungeon Wars. Recording, everything's cool. If you haven't downloaded and started playing it yet, do that? Do that. Yeah, do that. I mean, Dragon Fighters, Dungeon Wars. Type that in your iTunes store. Depending on what the date is, also in your Android store soon, and yeah, have fun, play it. You might want to be on a more high-end device or a newer device to play it. I recommend playing on an iPad or a really big phone, just because it's a pretty big world and it's really fun stuff. I personally don't believe in playing, even Clash of Clans or most games on a little screen. That's just too crazy. But that's my advice on how to use your own free fun time. But anyway, today we're going to do a little more behind the scenes stuff and talk about characters. And today's character is our main character, MonaLisa Goodsmirk. And that's her name. And I think it's fun. I came up with it. It's no big deal. I don't remember, actually the Mona part, I believe Brent came up with, our lead designer, coder, guy who makes the stuff happen in real life. He, I can't remember why. I remember one day, I'm pretty sure this is how it came about, the character was just called Mona. And I don't remember. I have no idea. I think it came from some other naming convention or something else. And then I just decided, alright, we're going to keep it. I'm not going to destroy anyone's hopes and dreams of naming this character Mona. So, let's Da Vinci this up. And there wouldn't be a Batman without Da Vinci. And there wouldn't be, I assume, a famous Da Vinci without the Mona Lisa and her weird smile. So, MonaLisa Goodsmirk was imagined to existence. She went through a few versions a long time ago. The day the music died, she looked like this for about a minute. Where am I? Over there. We started the company basically a long time ago and sent it away, just like, hey, here's something we were thinking about. Here are our drawings, here are ideas, what can you do? And then this is what came back, and we were like, alright, cool. Maybe? I don't know. Close? It's good. It's kind of close to what we were... Not really. I don't know if you... But, anyway, that happens sometimes. Yeah, sometimes you give somebody something to do, artistically or visually, and no matter how much you explain it to them, but draw it for them specifically, like those robots on the right, for example. They're not crazy 3D robots. I just drew those, or are they? Those might be 3D robots. But yeah, like I specifically drew all the parts in Flash, in 2D, and disassembled them with like a schematic, as if somebody was going to build it, and then just showed them what parts to build, and then put it together like a model, because I'm crazy, I guess. But yeah, so at one point the game was just a random bunch of characters. In this particular image, this is it. It was just like, oh, we'll just throw 3 of the same character in there just to see how this is going to work. Completely different game system. Everything was completely different, and that just happened to be the character we start with. Was the girl character that may or may not have been an archer or a ninja or whatever. We didn't know yet. We had all kinds of ideas floating around, and that's how things come into existence. Now we can see what she looks like in the current game. I'm actually on a newer version of the game right now, so if you have it on your iPad device today, it might be different a week from now, because we're adding more updates. If you go in to her upgrades, you can see all the fun stuff that we've come up with. And by we, in this case, mostly Shelby and David, came up with a bunch of just different hairstyles so to increase her whatever her spin attack in this case, but the hair or the head of each character, you upgrade or change it, and their special ability for that particular body part gets bigger, more powerful, etc. And it's really easy to figure out what's the best thing. You look at them, there's an eye, which means information always, and you click on it, and you can see, oh, this is the damage it does, and the HP bonus it provides, and the speed at which it destroys things, etc. And I've talked about that stuff 1,000 times before in all the other videos, so you can go through. I personally am the worst strategy game player because I am playing purely for aesthetics, which you can clearly see by talking to me. I'm just trying to level up the one I like the most, and in this case you can kind of do that and get a pretty decent, powerful level of attack or whatever. But ideally you want to get kind of the highest level thing and upgrade that to the highest, because as you go down the line, most of the stuff is, again, does more damage, has more power. But at this very moment, Shelby, who sits not too far from my desk, is designing a bunch of new costumes that you can have fun with. For example, right now, Mona just has this cat costume, but it's a full-body cat costume with a tail and everything. And like Shelby has a dragon costume. They're all super awesome little costumes. They're not all animal-based. Durandus has a pirate costume, but we'll cover those guys in a future episode just about them. MonaLisa, on the other hand, let's put her in a normal hairdo. So that's a fancier, I don't know, French braid or something. A little more leadership-y. The backstory to her is, well, the original backstory a long time ago when it first started was she was this I think just a plain peasant girl who kind of just was trained just for fun, whatever, like, you know, that classic story, the cliche of, hey, he was, you know, her dad was always just kind of trying to treat her like a boy and blah 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 blah, and then change that to just like, hey, she just went and trained with her dad all the time and they foraged for berries together and whatever, and eventually, you know, her whole family was killed Punisher style. Everybody was killed Punisher style, and a lot of people were like, we gotta save somebody, we gotta do something, and they became dragon fighters. And we made a comic, which I'm not sure, I think you can still find it somewhere now in the iTunes bookstore, whatever that's called now, or anyway, you'll find it. It's just called Dragon Fighters, I think Epic Battle Heroes, and it's like, I can't remember if we actually put out the 2 issues or 3 issues, but I drew them, and kind of while we were working on the game as well, not that I had a super pile of time to do it, and it told a lot of backstory of these characters that was really, really sad. And the more we did it, it was like, yeah, like Game of Thrones. I don't watch Game of Thrones, but you guys are telling me it's a very despair-filled land of sadness and sorrow and death, and people are always dying, so let's kill off some characters then. I'm fine with that. So he didn't even make it to this version of the game. There used to be a guy, he was like one of the main characters. It was pretty much Mona and Nicholas Arrow-Duell. What was he? A smith? What are those things? A weaponsmith? Something? Ironsmith? Horseshoe wizard? That would work on weapons and stuff, I guess. And once all the stuff, you know, fell apart, he was, you know, kind of called in the battle. Like, you gotta start fighting again with us. Oh, I haven't done this in so long. The old, you know, we gotta get a team together. Well, let's find some maniacs that we don't trust and work with them. And, you know, they come across Ariel, Wind Whisper, Wind something, Wind Hum, I don't know. I made up a lot of crazy names. And she's just like, she hates them. She tries to like arrest them under her own like made up law, and And eventually Nicholas dies. Blah, 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 blah. Nicholas's family was poisoned by the thieves and their poison magic, or just their poison something or others. And just like his family, he was also just, died of poison. And it was very, very sad. After quite a few focus groups and, a lot of versions of, like, the game, which was very different, and that little bit of dark story where we're gonna kill off some characters. We're gonna murder some people under the auspices of fun and entertainment. And people were like, no, that's cool. We're good. We kind of want to have a laugh every time we turn on our computers. Our Facebooks and Twitter just says, by the way, another, however the many thousand people have died because of some reason. So smile the day away, do something, and carry on, and my wayward son, etc. So I was like, hey, remember how we were originally going to make it just wacky funny, and they were just going to be like having a wacky adventure in spite of, still being under attack from monsters and some dark wizard, and so we shifted back to that story where they're all just a bunch of lovable, sarcastic jerks to each other who are just trying to save the world in the best way they know how, which is by killing the thing that's coming after them, because it's hard to have making friends be the goal of a game. Oh man. Let's change your clothes for a minute. Let's go through the hairstyles, actually. Get out of here. So the hairstyles start getting fun after you upgrade a little bit. This one was my idea. I think I might have actually designed this, and then Shelby made it, and the rest Shelby designed. Who doesn't love crazy late 80s, early 90s pink pigtails? Hot pink pigtails from space. Maybe they go too far with the genre. Maybe they're not fun enough. Maybe we'll add a feature where we can change the color of everything. I don't know. The sky's sometimes the limit. Then we got some decadent hair. That's like getting a little princess of power-ish. And then we get a little rockin'. Aw, snaps. Master Archer's magenta swoop. And Master Ranger's violet mohawk. With crazy eye patch targeting system. I assume is enchanted with magic targeting magic. The Force. And of course, we got a cat head. I'm gonna leave the swoop on because that's pretty fun. And torso-wise, we got kind of a Princess Leia chest armor deal. We got some leather armor from some, I don't know, blue and gold dragons. And, for the most part, everything has a pants to match, but you can mix and match however you want, of course. I mean, I'm not going to force anybody to do anything. What else do I have here? Originally, these were the options, like the only options. We had the one model, we had the one shape, and it just basically changed colors, and I did everything I could to make that look completely different with just designs and rearranging of those. I didn't know anything about how 3D works, or texture maps, or what that word means in relation to making a thing happen in the 3D world. But I did. I took the texture map and I colored on it and made these patterns, and it was cool. I don't know, there was a version of it where I'm like, this was amazing, and we had like these 5 upgrades, and back then she didn't have the name MonaLisa. She was Archer 4, one of 4 archers, who would eventually be named later. Patent pending, patent pending, patent pending. And basically, yeah, it was like from, wood and canvas up to armory type stuff that I made as shiny as I could. And then we put sparkles on it, because sparkles mean power, just like knowledge. And that's the design system that I go by. I don't know. You take a thing, you keep tracing over it until you have different versions. And then you end up with something like this. I won't go through any of the upgrading things, of course, because that's dumb. We're just talking visual stuff here. I already talked about upgrading before. I'm going to, later on, just try to play the game from beginning to as far as I can get without cheating, without using my Magic Brent buttons to give me money to buy things and be more powerful than everybody else, and show you a genuine strategy of how to play a single-player game. Anyway, back to her pants. Then we got some cool armor stuff that we build up to. Throw the top on to match that. Oh, shiny. And then up to gold. And gold pants to match. I, of course, just call them pants. And the internet is forever unreliable. But just like last time, I won't go on my cable company rant. Yeah, I am just thinking about the cable company, and whatever. Don't even... Never mind. Forget about it. Forget about it. How... Like, that's not even a reasonable upload speed. It's just not an even reasonable one you can have, but don't... Never mind. Gold pants. And then we got... There's even more high-end pants, but I don't have the money to buy those, and I want you to have the aspirations to go and try and afford them yourself. They look like that, and they also have... Energon sparkles of magic flowing off of them. So does her highest end headgear. And what else can we learn from the past? Yeah, like I said, she used to be a comic. She was a lot more darker and no nonsense as well. By that I mean, her whole family was murdered and killed by these monsters. She doesn't know why. Nobody knows why. And she comes across this other peasant, even more peasantly peasant in the woods, that's like, I need some help, and she's like, I'm gonna murder everything, and she just starts shooting. She starts opening fire, seemingly on this poor peasant girl, and surprise, you turn to the next page, and she was shooting a dragon, and she becomes a dragon fighter. I mean, it's in the title, Obviously, the main character isn't just going to be murdering peasants but it was a much darker story back then, like I say. In her weapons, she's got all kinds of different weapons. I unlocked, pre-unlocked a few here. Again, back in the old days, it was pretty much, here you go, projectile shoot out of you. You're going to be this big. It doesn't matter what you look like. You're going to be like a Mario sprite. And then technology and the rules, everything just kept getting bigger and more involved every time we got somewhere, and it's like, oh, we can use more megabytes now? Well, then we should. Let's use all the megabytes, and we did, and put as much stuff in there as we could, and there's so much. So you could have a novice short bow if you want. I don't know why you would. We literally give you a free novice longbow, which has a lot more power and range, all the things that you need. Like I said, I already talked about all that stuff. We're just talking about the fun. I'm not going to train here for strategy every day, even though I've talked so much strategy. Then we got the crossbow. For the most part, crossbows are just a little bit faster than the other bows, because they eventually kind of turn into she uses that with her other hand. A more adept crossbow, and the master crossbow is basically like a Gatling gun, so it's just a lot faster, although it doesn't, traditionally do as much damage as the slower, longer ranged weapons. I personally usually end up trying to upgrade the longbow as best I can, just because I don't like getting face maced, as we've discussed in all of the other episodes in the history of face macers. But the short bow is pretty good too, because it's has some speed, lots of power, doesn't have quite as much distance, but it's a pretty decent distance compared to everybody else. Of course, if you're gonna really save up some money and build out your capacity to hold a lot of money in your castle, which we'll talk about in my Getting As Far As I Can episode, because yeah, in order to upgrade, you need somewhere to put your gold, and you got to do that in your castle. So anyway, that's her pretty much souped up there. As for more behind the scenes history, Ricky, last name I can't remember at the moment, he did up some concept art while we were in the midst of building this out. That's one of the many drawings of MonaLisa that exist in time and space. That's just, you know, we drawing some notes over top of some of the stuff that was built to get somewhere in between where we were and where we are now. And, you know, she used to have lots of crazy just streaks in her hair, and her hair never changed. So many things that you'll never see, or have been replaced by actually seeing things instead of use your own imagination, kids. Games can be fun in your mind. As, you know, we'll give you a little cube-shaped thing on the screen, and you do whatever it is you do. I also did a bunch of cinematics, you know, when we thought, hey, we could probably play videos between each level, right? And no, those are delusions of grandeur, sir. This Millennium Falcon doesn't fly through these parts, so those were eventually kind of thrown away. I was just gonna make a big animated version of the comic as well, and again, like, that stuff takes a lot of time, and I'm just one person. I'm also, you know, this is a huge game. I can't be making whole entire movies while trying to also make a game. But as you can see, this is when we were trying to put the humor kind of back in, / this is a few scenes before Nicholas dies, and we delete him from the game, and genuinely discussed, would it be fun, or just spiteful and fun for me, if I encourage us to legitimately kill a character off when we get to a certain level and the user cannot, you know, use that character anymore. And as much as it made for some great discussion, people didn't agree with my brand of fun. I mean, we all had a good laugh, but you can't do that to people, and I wouldn't. If this is your first episode and you don't know what we're talking about, I'm going to jump into a level and show you. Looks like some people need some help here. Don't worry, we're on our way. You can rearrange your party up at the top by tapping on these guys. At the moment, I haven't unlocked a bunch of people. This is just a new account for me, just so I can test some new things. And oh, I hope you brought enough arrows. Next one I'll go through and I'll do dumb weird voices, just like I don't know, a Bob Saget America's Funniest Home Videos episode. And then you're in a level, and these are the face macers I was talking about, or these are the dragons. So I'm going to draw the dragons down so I can shoot them without getting my face hit, and then slowly and carefully target the face macers so I don't accidentally just run my face into it while I'm trying to shoot at it. I'm going to whip around this corner, shoot this, and like I said, it's just as easy as tap where you want to go. Take your time. I get in the habit of just tapping like a maniac to get where I want to go, and that does nothing. That really does nothing for me. That just means it's got to keep recalculating what it is you want to do, and odds are if you keep tapping, you're going to hit the ground more than you hit the thing you want to destroy, or you're going to hit the thing you want to destroy more than the ground that you want to escape to. And of course, always, your mana fills up pretty quick, so, you know, figure out kind of a good timing and use it as best you can to destroy all the things with your special attack buttons down on the right side there. Get to that dragon totem, stop dragons from spawning in that land, and adjust your hood, and everything will go as planned. Sometimes I rhyme by accident, sometimes on purpose. I got a book, go to nosuchthingasgrownups.com, and there's a book section, and there's a book of rhymes and poetries, and comics, and all kinds of other things. Also, anyway, enough shameless plugging. Download this game, that's why I'm here. Next level. we'll save for next time. We'll end by letting you know that when we get back to story mode, Mona goes out into the world. She is told by the peasant you should find Derek Edgevenom, a wily little thief who's supposedly a master of dragons and monsters, and he's a clever detective, but he's not. He's not. He's just a little clown. He's doing his best. He tries. He's like a little ninja anyway. He has a friend named Durandus Durant, who's a medieval rock and roll wizard of light, and we'll talk about her. And they go looking for her, and they just rescued her in this particular shot from the dragons. And Derek thinks that it was all his doing. She likes to be mean, and I'm running out of steam. I don't know why I can't stop thinking of just things that rhyme. I'm not even gonna edit this out. I don't know. I got nothing. Me, my momo. Momo.